Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Before we even started, sorry, Sam is here too.
Hi.
I looked right at her and I'm like, Sam, our producer's here. Butler's in the other room. We're live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Or follow and subscribe to the replays that I put up every single day on YouTube. Just search Tom and Dan Live. Also today, I don't know if you guys noticed, it's the first day that we're running 4 cameras we always run 4 cameras simultaneously, but this one is the first day that we have fish cam live and direct while we're doing the show.
Okay.
So if you don't want to watch us, you can watch the fish tank that today I
Not
think...
a lot going on in there,
I think we're getting fish today.
Are we?
Well, we're close.
We're getting down to crunch time.
Been talking to Top Shelf Aquatics.
Yeah.
They sent me a list of fish. We got
Fish.
What are you getting?
we got a convict tang.
Convict.
I don't want a convict tang. Can't we get just a mild-mannered young, like a professional tang?
We
they're
got
kind of cute, but they do have like stripes, like they're behind bars.
Convict tang.
We got a sailfin. Is that algae or algae blenny?
Algae.
Old gay Benny is going to be in the tank? Oh, great.
Sailfin algae blenny.
Yeah,
Old gay Benny is going to be, hey, hi, guys.
No, I don't want one of those. Those things look
We
weird.
got a blue-green reef chromis.
Chromis. I think you're missing a chromis.
Royal Grandma.
Royal
brass
Grandma?
lip.
Royal Grandma and Big Gay Benny.
Ooh, the blue-green chromis looks cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Royal Grandma and Big Gay Benny in the morning.
We got a pygmy angelfish.
That's me. I'm a pygmy angelfish.
Yeah, there's
It was like a little angelfish.
there's that one.
Oh, he's great.
I want the pygmy grandma.
Or cherub.
A cherub. We're putting an angel in there. Well, anyway, we have a fish tank, and you can watch it. Oh, that's beautiful, the pink and yellow. And you can watch all of this.
Reef chromis.
Oh, he's lame, the reef chromis. I don't like him. Just twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live if you want to check that out.
Yeah. So it's happening soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, I wouldn't have thought, and some of our saltwater guys told us this, but you don't really know until you've accurately experienced something.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that this whole fish tank deal would be as enjoyable as it is, also as time consuming, as far as it is I can see where people get into the hobby because it's time in. We always go and we put water in the tank and we put our bacteria and the stuff that we've been ordered to do, our chores. And I can see where once you get into that routine, you obviously don't want to drop the ball on this because you could ruin hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of fish or coral.
And time.
Yeah, and time. So it's definitely, I like it. I think it's a great hobby.
It's acute chemistry to keep the tank at the right levels to support life, and then it's delicate. So you're right. It's about time spent in that gives you a greater reward once the tank is up and running. And I guess once it's up and running, it becomes easier because the actual fish and the life that's in the tank.
It's an ecosystem at that point,
then
right?
create the equilibrium.
Or an ecosystem.
Yeah. And then so almost like once you get the life in the tank, it then creates the perfect environment to foster that life.
Everybody's living off of each other.
And then you have to basically probably add a little bit here and there, take away here and there, make sure that everything's balanced.
Now, the most I ever got into fish when I was a kid was goldfish. And at one time, I had a sucker fish.
Yeah.
I had an octagon freshwater tank. Every, I think, Florida trash child had an octagon. People. Yeah, poor people love their fish tanks.
Yeah.
And we had a freshwater octagon tank, wood on the bottom that you could open up and you could put stuff underneath there. If you were me, this full transparency, what did I put underneath mine? My mom had put a tablecloth over top of it, back when tablecloths were like a thing. I don't think I've seen a tablecloth in 25 years. But back when, in my home, your nightstand or something would have a dusty-ass tablecloth on it. So this fish tank had a dusty-ass tablecloth on it, and then underneath it, you could lift it up, and there was a cabinet door that would open. I would put my nudie mags in there and hide them because nobody would ever look under the fish tank. So I had the Barbie Twins Playboy. I had a copy of Penthouse. I had Pamela Anderson. I had Anna Nicole Smith. They were all tucked in there. Jenny McCarthy, Nira Davis. I can still remember them. They made me who I am. And I had them all tucked under there.
Are you an old New York landlord? Why do you have a nudie mags at? How old are you? A bunch of hustler magazines?
I didn't have any hustlers. I told you what I had. Playboys. I had one Penthouse. It was on the bottom because that one showed a little more meat than the other ones. And I keep them under my fish tank. And I had a sucker fish.
Where was your fish tank located in the house?
It was in the hallway near my bedroom, so it was right near me, And then it had a sucker fish. I had one of those long, skinny, standard goldfish that looked like a Swedish fish. But then I had orange and a black version of these goldfish, the ones that have the giant pop out eyeballs.
Yeah. And
and warts all over them and color splotches and big crazy eyeballs.
Yeah. What kind of goldfish is that?
Crazy eye.
Yeah. Their eyes
Golden
are
eyes.
bulbous. Like
it looks at any moment their eyes are going to explode out of their fish head.
Yeah. You're like, what's wrong with you?
Can you even see anything? I swear to God, they're so far out. I think you're looking at both sides of the walls.
And then
They're called black moors.
Will all goldfish keep growing till?
According to my Dr. Seuss book, yeah.
Because
based on the size of the vessel it's in, it will try to get as big as it needs to be to live in there. And then you keep upgrading. I remember when you gave some fish to Dustin.
Yeah. At our buddy at West End, and when he had a koi fish pond, we gave him those fish that we won at the carnival in front of OLE that time.
Stewart and Stanley?
After we left a highlight match.
Yeah.
And then there's a carnival going out in front.
Was that when we went with Old Whopper Jr. or Justin from Cigar City Brewery?
I think so.
Oh, we were hammered. We were also with Ron Rake from Playa Linda Brewery.
Yeah. And then we won the goldfish drunkenly.
Oh,
and
man. Your wife was mad.
Well, she went and bought a fish tank at a Walmart.
It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah. $180 later, we have a fish tank for these two stinkfish that we got at the carnival that were in a gigantic
those blue barrels
50-gallon blue barrel, which my wife mistakenly asked the carny, hey,
what are you gonna do with this after?
Yeah. He's like, I just kick it over into the sewer. And then it horrified her. And then
she knew she could save two of them.
Yeah, and then once we got the fish, then she eventually gave them to Dustin, in which they grew in a bigger koi pond to the size of like a football. And then they died in a freeze.
That's
the Great Deltona freeze.
Yeah, that's the thing about fish.
Yeah. And but they grew to football
they were,
size.
They were huge. He sent me a picture one time, and I was like, I don't even believe that.
Yeah.
And I thought goldfish and koi were different.
I want a koi pond. I want to go to Six Flags Mulch and get a koi. They got a bunch of aquascape.
You need a water feature in your backyard. It's the only thing you're missing. I got to survey his backyard. Sam, you'd be impressed. It really does look nice. Normally when I go over
probably
there,
spent 180 hours back there in the past 3 months.
I've never told you
around.
This. I've never told you this, but every single time I've left your house, other than this last Sunday that you invited me over to swim, every single time I've left your house, I've never been more excited to get back to my house. This time you got it dialed in. It looks great. It really looks amazing. Their backyard is really something to be proud of, man. It is really good.
If you can, it turns out that if you just put some work into things, it makes it better.
Yeah.
I never realized
it.
It just takes a little work.
I'm gonna blow Samantha's mind right now. I'm gonna blow your mind. First thing Tom showed me when I came over and went to his outdoor kitchen is how he had, wait for it, a gas man, a guy that actually provides propane gas commercially to people's homes. Come, wait for it, and hook the line up.
Wow.
It's been hooked up correctly.
Oh, I didn't tell my wife. I'll tell you guys, but I had kept this from her because so
this is the part you won't like, Sam.
I'll throw out the plug because he
grifted.
This guy saved your life. This guy's a hero.
Thompson Gas is a company that BDM worked for. Anyway, I started using them, so I got the new giant, 120-gallon propane tank on the side. And then so he first went. He's like, "What does this propane tank run to?" I'm like, "The pool heater. I got a gas heater and
I just put Saran wrap and a rubber band over the top of it. It's fine."
And then it runs underground. By the way, which I dug. I did some digging, and my hands are. I can't dig anymore. I'm done with the digging game.
What happened?
Well, because of my carpal tunnel or whatever the hell it is. If I do like shockingly like motions,
it's also just the shape that you're holding your hand for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I get that too.
Yeah,
from years of typing.
Oh, you're gonna have to be like my dad from years of over the road driving. he had to sleep with tennis balls in his hands to keep them from. If they went to a full fist, he'd never get them out. He'd be like a GI Joe.
Well, I sleep with a similar to a bowling.
You sleep with that every night?
Yeah. I have to because if I go without it, I will wake up.
Calls himself Kingpin
at
in the
3
bedroom.
in the morning, and my right hand
straight fire.
will be the most excruciating fire I've like I'm pouring fire. I'm like putting my hand in fire. It's like I'm like and then I have to sit up and then just wait for it to go away for like a good 10 minutes.
Oh, you gotta wait for your hand to burn out for 10 minutes? That sounds terrible.
It's like I was the Human Torch and then I used my powers and then it actually hurt me. I'm like Human Torch on.
Never doing that again.
Like, this is horrible. Anyway, so and then if I dig
superpower
or have some sort of jarring motion repetitively, it sparks it to happen. And even when I have the wrist protection on, it'll start on fire. Like this morning, I woke up and my hand was on fire.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, it just I'm moving towards death. So
write that down as the catchphrase.
So the gas guy, he's like, "Oh, let me see what's in your
let me see what's in your pants here."
He's like, "This regulator's all." He's like, "What?" He's like, "How old this is?" "Where'd you get this?" I'm like, I don't know. Someone put it on back in a grip.
This isn't even for propane. This is scuba equipment. You're
Oh
like,
my
what?
God.
This is a scuba regulator.
You're using an atomic regulator. This is like from the early 2000s.
You see, I push the purge button and
Look at that.
propane
Oh,
flies
fire!
out.
Crazy. It's also got a second one hanging off of there for emergency
And
in
he's
case
like,
somebody else needs fire.
And then he's like digging up he's like, the line is twisted like a Twizzler. He's like, how is this working? I'm like, I don't know. So then he goes into my grill area. And then he's like, whoa! He's like, I gotta get a red tag. He's like, this is, oh man. He's like, you have a miniature grill regulator that's for like a
tiny
Walmart
Weber
grill.
Spirit.
He's like, for this gigantic. He's like, this is coming out too fast. Like it's straight propane line to miniature grill regulator for like a camping stove, and then into your like
it's like putting a silencer for a 9mm on a bazooka. It's like it just doesn't work.
He's like, this is dangerous, bro.
Yeah, haven't you almost blown your eyebrows off before?
Well, his eyebrows have been blown off, but he's always worried about blowing his legs off. That's always been always been the joke.
Every time I turn on my grill, I turn on.
And what do? I get in the pool and I hide. Everybody knows that. We've made this joke on the show. I get in the pool and then
now we know why.
And then I sink to the bottom so the water will cover me in case the whole world is scorched in fire.
And it'd be like True Lies when he's swimming under the fire.
Yeah.
So every time I turn on the gas and then I hear like, and then I turn on the burners. And then when I push that thing, I
need a stick and go stand far away.
I say a little goodbye to my sons. I'm like, I love you, boys. And then I'm waiting for it to go and blow me in half violently. Now Max's room is behind me, so I feel like my torso would fly through the window.
Well, your legs would.
Butt ass would fly
it
through
would
his
be like
window.
your waist, your scorched genitals, and your knee bones would fly through the window, landing on top of his bed.
Yeah.
That's a horrifying way to find your dad.
And so he capped it off and put a red tag on there.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then
he hooked it up to a tiny bottle of gas. He's like, "This is what you got to use until I can get you the right parts, right?" Isn't he gonna come back and do it right?
Yeah. Then you got to have this 5-foot vent. That's just that's overkill. That's like wearing a mask when you're driving a car. You're being too cautious.
You're trying to stop spitting on your favorite radio station.
Just give me the bigger regulator, and so they're gonna come back and fix it. And he's like, and I'm like, oh, it's good. I won't have to, say a little goodbye to my sons every time I turn my grill on.
Jesus, man.
I'm going to I'm going to dig into some voicemails here for us. If you'd like to leave us one, or do you have emails? I printed some this morning, too. Yeah, let's go to emails first, because I've been neglecting those. If you want to throw us an email, show@tomanddan.com, or get a hold of us, tomanddan.com, for all of your podcasting needs. What do you got there, Sam?
All right, this one's about merch. It says, "Hey, show, do you guys have a plan on getting any of your guys' shirts in tall sizes? I'm 6'5" and I need a tall shirt. I'd like to buy some shirts, but if they're not tall, then they shrink up after the first wash and my gut hangs out the bottom."
That I like that.
We've had a couple people ask.
Yeah,
about
we
I
should
like
get
gut
tall.
out the bottom. I see it a lot on Live PD. Gut out the bottom.
Yeah.
And I like it. And the person is constantly pulling their shirt down over it, like pulling. And it's not that your shirt, I don't feel like it's that your shirt is too short. It's that you're growing out and you're eating some of the length.
Yeah. Because instead of hanging straight down,
It's having to
it
it
goes
hangs around
a
your
curve, which is of course going to shorten.
Well, it's the same thing with big boobs.
Yeah.
I have this issue. I have to buy bigger shirts because even though it would fit me when I hold it up to me, I have to put in, some boob size there where I'm like, okay, well, this is going to come up because,
Have you ever tried to put one boob out of each armhole?
No.
I think I would try different things with my boobs. Like I did the T-shirt upside down when I was a kid. I used to love to do that. I'd put a T-shirt on upside down so my genitals hang to the neck hole. I mean, it was
Easier to do in a tank top out each armhole,
Yeah,
but not a T-shirt.
Yeah, well then you just have to pull them to the middle. It's not like they're not arms, they don't go out crazy.
If I had giant boobs, I would definitely use them for all advantages. Like I would wear super cleavage. I'd show them all the time, by the way. Like
I get nude
okay.
all the
to
time.
get free stuff and
Yeah.
like to try to like lure anybody in for whatever reason. I don't know why
It
I'm
could be
luring
anything.
them.
I could lure a raccoon into a refrigerator box. It doesn't matter. Whatever I would be able to lure, I would lure.
I would wear low cut cleavage shirts all the time
too.
because I know how guys are and I know I'd get
Well,
free
you
stuff.
say
and,
that until you're groped.
the groping for my personality wouldn't bother.
You probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, I would. I would. I'm sure I'd get tired of it after a while. But I would accept it as a casualty.
Would you wear
of my grifting?
Would you wear a bra or no?
Whatever the men like best.
It's different. I don't know what
some guys prefer like the push-up bra. Some guys prefer just having no bra and they're flopping around.
I want really humongous though. I want like old black grandma. Like I want the mambo.
Big missiles?
Yeah, I want like huge plumb bobs. Yeah, plumb bobs, mega torpedoes, like
big
because sometimes I see them and I'm like, those are the biggest things
it's painful.
Yeah, that's like like having different appendages that I don't have. They're massive.
Yeah.
It is painful.
Yeah.
You don't want those.
Yeah, I want those.
You think
don't
your
know my
back,
body.
You think your back is bad now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to. I'll be like that lady. Did we ever get? Remember the lady I found? Look up the lady with the biggest boobs in the world. She's got a funny name. Her name's Ella, something. She's got some name that ties into her breasts.
Yeah.
And I want to get. Maybe we can Skype in and talk to her because she was like Guinness Book of World Records largest breasts.
Yeah, but that's something she got surgically enhanced to the point of.
These are real.
Real? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's an old black
Annie
grandma.
Hawkins?
No.
The boob queen?
No, this lady.
It says she holds the Guinness Book of World Records.
No, this lady has a name. It's
How big are they?
Let me see.
Oh, I have to look her up now. God damn it.
Annie Hawkins.
Like what
52L.
Wow.
What does that look like? L.
Oh, I guess largest now. Oh, there she is. Yeah, but I thought she changed her name. That's her.
They call her the boob queen.
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought she had a different name.
Each of her breasts weighs around 56 pounds.
Oh my God.
Hold on, I got a picture of
That's
her.
too much.
Yeah, it is too much.
That's 100 pound.
That's over 100 pounds of just extra
hanging
meat.
Yeah.
My God.
They are.
How is her back not excruciating?
It's got to be. It's got to be super strong.
Yeah. Dude, I've got a.
That's a lot of core work, right?
I've got a curl bar at home that's rusty that I do my workouts in my garage, and it's 75 pounds, and that's heavy. Like with two 25s in each and like a 25 bar, like I can't imagine adding 25 to that and then just hanging it off my chest at all times, and my back would slowly be pulled to the point of I would just be in pain all the time.
Yeah, 100
well,
pounds.
I'm always in pain, and I'm nowhere near a 52L.
What?
Don't do it. I'll write you up right now because we have to wear many. We have to wear many hats, and I'm HR now. Go ahead and ask her.
You've asked me on the Tom and Dan cruise.
I'll overlook this.
What?
Whoa, my God.
You don't remember that?
Don't
the
talk
newlywed
about
game?
What? You want to come to my room later?
No, yeah,
Here's my room key. Tom, you just gave me the streamline key to shut off my lights.
So what do you think yours weigh? I can't
Mine?
remember.
You've asked me this
I don't think
years
mine-
ago. You wanted to
Why
take
are
me
you
to
looking at-
Publix and put it in the
No!
produce
That was a
where.
different time.
What
It was
happened to you?
2017.
2017 Tom
It's
Van
before
on the
me
Tom and
too.
Dan cruise said he wanted to
No,
take you to
that was on the show.
on the show. He said he wanted. Where was I?
You were here.
He wanted to take
it
you
was
to
old
Publix
studio.
and put your boob in the vegetable wing.
Correct.
That is disgusting. You are terrible. How much do they weigh?
I don't know. We never attempted it.
Would that give an accurate? I don't think it would. In the vegetable
We'd have to like hold her somehow. You'd have to be weightless in some way.
No, I would stand and just put one in, right?
Yeah, but as you go
Could that
down,
work? Could you put it in
I
like a
think so.
cantaloupe?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not.
they're pretty big.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I mean.
You okay, bro?
We got Jordan.
Like somebody blew
We're
your
not
wig off.
asking Jordan. You leave
text
Jordan
him.
out of this.
If we can go after hours.
Jordan, shut the store down.
Who's got a weed scale? We can
need
do it with that
somebody
too.
to shut a Publix down so we can weigh.
And the
Samantha's-
Cameras everywhere.
In the morning when you let the old people in
Yeah.
the shop, don't let them.
We'll put masks on the nipples.
Let us in. Tell them to hold off.
We need
We got important business to do.
We need 5 minutes. We'll run back to produce, put mask on the nipples, mask on our faces.
Yeah.
See,
And,
people remember you guys asking me to do this.
I don't remember any of this. I blacked out, I think.
I don't think that's accurate.
I think all the blood went downstairs. I blacked out.
That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Oh, you got another email?
Yes.
My
Man,
God.
So are we getting tall tees? How did we get to this?
God.
Oh my
I know.
God.
Yeah,
Nah.
we need to. We need to ask Enemy if because
They have to make them, right?
the thing is with every garment now we can get
Might need a minimum.
tall tees. But we'd have to get the garment that actually has that as an option. Like some offer 4X and even 5X, but some only go up to 3.
Yeah.
And most only go up to 3. And then I think some offer like a wide and a tall, but we just got to find the right material because I don't want to get some cheap ass Hardo Gildan.
Most of them come in Gildan.
Yeah.
You know,
Gildan's
like you're-
getting better though.
Yeah,
they've got a
kinda
softer
soft,
one
yeah.
now.
Yeah, they've had to, but a couple of those shirts, the only thing that Gildan has going for them, because I don't want to throw them under the bus, and if you're a T-shirt aficionado like I am, if you like the T-shirts, you'll know, I do like the fact that their necks don't roll down.
Yeah.
You know, like
They'll
I
last.
have a wider neck just by my design. You know, I'm not like a skinny neck. You know, I'm not a pencil neck geek, as wrestlers would say.
Yeah. You're a wide neck.
Yeah,
I've seen
I'm a
long neck.
Canadian wide
Body.
neck, and yeah, like it doesn't roll down sometimes. I like that.
Yeah, they're built tough.
Ford.
Oh my God.
Stay safe out there, everybody. Or Mr. Cliche over here.
Old ACT podcast. Have you ever looked into a dog's eyes? Hey Dan, what's up, man? I hope you and everyone are doing well during this Corona-19. I was trying to find an old podcast in the archives that my son and I still remember and laugh about all the time. It was an ACT episode where you are playing a recorded call and interviews where Tom had to play the straight man interviewing some person, and you would call in and goof on the author or person while being interviewed Tom had to try and keep it together. So this was Straight Talk.
Oh, yeah.
We got to do more Straight Talks. I miss those.
Yeah, they're
hard to set up now, though.
There's a best of where we put a lot of Straight Talks on there.
Oh, I got them all. I mean, I can dig them up, yeah.
Maybe we should put together
one full Straight Talk episode.
Yeah, of all the Straight Talks. They're very polarizing. People either can't listen to them because they're so awkward, or people love them.
See, that I don't understand. I've never been the type of person. I can see it if it's like Faces of Death. You know, you don't want to see like some guy eating monkey brains or like, a terrorist execution video. But
you got to remember, it's only awkward to the listener who knows us, not to the person we're interviewing, because they just think we're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, by design, it's really just goofing on us in their eyes.
Yeah. And so, again, they got their message out. They move on with their lives.
At least that's how we rationalize it in our brains.
No, it's fine. I mean, we don't... we're basically just emulating what a horrible terrestrial radio show would be with two guys that don't know what they're doing, or at least one guy that doesn't know how to interview, and then he takes bad callers.
I think Rich summed it up perfectly in our Twitch chat room. He said, Straight Talk made me super uncomfortable, and I wasn't a fan, but I miss it now. It's weird. That's exactly what it is. I don't understand it either. It's like some people will tell me, I've had people tell me, they'll tell me, they'll be like, yeah, that was super funny, but I can't listen to it ever again. I'm like,
believe me, if I get uncomfortable,
it gives you anxiety. You're like,
because Daniel's playing a character, so he's free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I'm the one that has to apologize to the guest and be like,
you really do have the harder job, because I can just
I'm
act crazy.
uncomfortable as hell. I actually I get
lose a little bit of life every time we do one.
I'm like,
you're
oh,
like
God.
Spawn. I'm like sucking your life force.
Because I know Daniel's just trying to do more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, Grady Season says he can't listen to Straight Talk. That's funny, man.
So it says, the episode I'm trying to find is the one where you called in to talk to the dog whisperer lady, and you said, have you ever looked into a dog's eyes and you can see what he's saying? Well, I looked into my dog's eyes, and you know what he was saying? Please kill me. I want to die.
I remember that.
I'm laughing while I'm typing this. My son and I still look at each other today when things get heavy and say, please kill me. I want to die. In Dan's old black man's voice. I know you've got a lot more important things to do than try and figure out what episode I'm talking about, but any direction would be awesome. That entire episode is a classic, and I used to play it when the podcast was newer, but lost it over time.
You know my favorite
ACTs only go back 100, just like they will go into archive.
My favorite one is the giraffe meat. Remember that was a good one. Let's work on that in the next couple of weeks.
I'll go back and find the service, because there used to be a publicist or a national media agency that you'd sign up. So all these people that wrote these BS books and all this stuff, they would sign up and pay, I think, to be involved in a service that tried to get them media interviews, and nobody wants these interviews. They're garbage, like books written about giraffes or whatever, but I get them all the time because I signed up for it or whatever I got on the list.
Like most of them are stuff like this, like protecting your cat and taking care of it during COVID. It's like, what do you mean? You feed it and water it. It doesn't know what's going on, but this lady thinks it does.
It just gives content to, I guess, a bunch of these radio shows.
Remy in our Twitch chat room, he's weighing in. He said, I would be a perfect character for Straight Talk. I don't think I've heard a better idea.
Yeah, I think Remy's podcast is Straight Talk. We listened, Remy, and I'm very entertained by it.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm like,
by the way, text Travis again.
Is this happening?
He's ready for the interview.
Yeah.
What else you got, Sam?
Hey guys, I was listening to ACT today, and I decided to take a stab at a Sgt. Pepper Lips bottle design. I too am gardening like a madman, Basil, and got really pumped up hearing about Tom's scorpion peppers. Love the show, guys, and Sam.
You pumping up people.
I don't have the actual
Pabon?
picture. It cut off.
We're gonna call Pabon.
No,
Hold on.
that's Pabon's. This guy did another one. Hold on.
It cut off the picture, so I don't have the
Sam.
actual.
I'm sorry.
Picture of this.
It was like a ketchup bottle, and he did like a sergeant character with pepper lips on it. It was very good. And then Pabon did
the one Pabon did is horrifying.
I love it.
It's
right there. It's under there.
Yeah.
Is it under there?
Yeah, it's
Hold
under.
it up on the camera.
Hold on, we gotta call Pabon. What's do you have Pabon's cell phone?
I do not.
Okay, where's it?
Here
Hold on. I
can Facebook message him and see if
yeah.
he can
See
call
if
in.
it's,
Here's Pabon.
It is terrifying.
terrifying.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
How is that going to sell my GD
It's you as
pepper products?
It's you as E.T. With your hair in a Sergeant Pepper's outfit, horrifying teeth and lips falling off, and your peppers falling from your lips.
Yeah. This is it's gross.
It's fantastic,
and that doesn't make anybody want to buy.
I don't know,
pepper
man. People
sauce.
like weird stuff.
I'd buy it.
So
No.
if they saw that as a label, they might be like, "Wow, this is
Everybody
weird. I might
loves
want to try it."
Everybody in the chat room,
they're
love
lying.
it.
They're lying
They're
because
not
I hate
lying.
it.
Our listeners would never lie to
They
us,
lie
and you
all
would
the
never
time.
lie to them.
I lie all the time, and they lie. Everybody's lying. That now listen, great art. But he missed the mark, and I got to yell up a bone.
No, I'm getting it. I ordered 1,000 T-shirts already.
Now another gentleman sent me one that was more appetizing. It's all about branding. Listen, I talked to Danger Brain a couple times. I am a professional at this point.
Okay.
I understand branding. I'm the best at branding.
No.
All right, we got to take a break. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. You want to call Pabode and we'll talk through this?
It's easy just to rattle off and trail off and just end with "you're the best."
Yeah.
I understand it now.
Right.
Yeah. I understand
It is kind of fun.
It's like a nonsense.
Like
thing.
my
I'm
wife
just I understand that. I'm the best at that.
I do it with my wife. My wife's like, "What do you got going on today?" I was like, "We got great interviews. They're going to be the best interviews we've done." And she's like, "Oh, wow." And it gives her confidence too.
Yeah. It's an easy trick.
Yeah, why not? And then if anybody asks you what your opinion is, just go, maybe you should ask Sam. Maybe that's a question for Sam. That's what I do.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, maybe talk to Pabone. We might not. We might forget or lose interest during the break. So we'll be back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We got him on line 2. We were able to track this guy down during the break. Before the break, we were talking about one of the pieces of Tom and Dan art that I personally think is one of the best we've had. And you seem to have a problem with it, Tom. And we have the artist on the line, Eric Pabone, is on the line. And let me remind everyone that during this time you can order art for him for a very reasonable price.
How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good.
Now, as you guys know, I do most of my business. I just talk about on the show, hoping that someone was going to hear it, and then
you were
what
trying
I want.
to grift the ability for your wife to watch the launch yesterday.
Yeah.
And
didn't get any.
didn't get an email.
Any bites.
Right.
That's because nobody listens.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that part.
I throw out my grifts like lines out on a pier,
trolling,
and then I just put my fishing pole down, and then I start another grift over here, and then I will look back at that grift. I'm like, any bites?
Yeah, but sometimes your poles are in the water.
I got a lot of grift fishing poles at the edge of the pier.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I threw this out because I was like, you know what? I'm growing a lot of peppers. Maybe I'll turn it into a business. I've been thinking about teaching my sons how to run a business, and I was like, maybe I'll do something with these peppers. Either I'll propagate some pepper plants, and then they can sell them online. I'll teach them how to, how business works.
So you came up with this idea
for a hot sauce.
Your name was going to be hot sauce. Hey, Pabone, he likes to get real Cajun. He's like, I'm going to make some hot sauce. One of us I guarantee. With Zatarans, we zazz it up. Zatarans.
I don't know why that happened.
Suddenly, sometimes during conversations, Pabone, Tom will channel the black second line drummer from all of the Universal Studios Mardi Gras billboards, where the guy's like, "Hey," and he's blowing the whistle. This rice is spicy, baby.
I think years of talking and abusing my throat is catching up to me. Anyway, so I threw out there and I said, hey, if Pabone's listening, I think this was weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's got, of course he wants to do more free art.
I was like, I would like a Sergeant Pepper Lips.
Which, by the way, I think your name is effing stupid.
Of course it is.
Yeah, okay.
And then Eric heard this, and then he made some art.
Spent hours on some art, and he hit it out of the park, I think.
And then he sent it to me. Now, he sent it to me on Sunday, and when I opened it in my Facebook Messenger, I go, no! and then I waited a beat so I could send a message back, and then And then I noticed that you put it up on the BDM page
Oh,
and
then
a
you
lot
started
of
spreading.
comments.
Well, it's already the official logo for the hot sauce.
Well, Daniel showed Twitch. I'll show it again. And now, Eric, listen. Art is subjective, and it's in the eye of the beholder. They say. So you can't ever look at anything and be like, oh, that art is bad or good, because it's all dependent on the person looking at it. Some people could think it's great. Some people would not like it.
See, I like this because I like that it sparks conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Go ahead. I was going to say, the whole point of this little exercise was just for that reaction. When you opened up your Facebook Messenger, I'm so happy to hear that was your reaction. Yeah, I just, the joke is you're bad at business, which you're really not, but that's the joke. So I thought, here's your business idea. Can I make the most nightmare-inducing weirdo logo
it's the best.
No one would want to purchase anything you make? And that's kind of...
Here's the thing. Everybody I work with or do business with would disagree with you. That's a bad sign. Anyway, so, Eric, now, my original thought was I would put this on, the outside of my pepper pots or some sort of hot sauce. I've been actually working with Juan. I have like 30 or some odd habaneros growing. I'm like, we could make this into
that's at least 2 bottles of hot sauce. Great job.
Well, you mix that in
with a huge operation going here
with other bushels, and then I can technically say made with Tom Van's peppers, but even like a milliliter of pepper sauce. You know what I'm saying? It's all, you have to exaggerate.
Oh,
it's all
10% real juice. I get it.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't know how business is done.
He's the Sunny D of
You're
peppers.
Yeah, this is
You're
how.
the Gene Simmons of podcasting.
Yeah, who would have known that my business
That guy's
partner
rich.
is using the business acumen of the Squeeze It company?
That old Jewish lady's rich as hell. Anyway, not to criticize your art, Eric, but
Sure.
it's terrifying, and everything about it is terrifying, and it haunts my nightmares. And nobody would buy any product with this on it because it's scary as hell. Maybe if it's a horror movie,
I love it,
of some sort, but it doesn't.
It's fantastic art, but it is nightmare fuel.
It's going in the bathroom. It's getting framed, dude. It's straight up getting framed because it's so good.
I think you're wrong, Tom. I do think people would buy this.
Here's the thing: if that's on some sort of
okay, follow me.
Sauce.
Though. If the hot sauce tastes really good, if the hot sauce tastes really good, right?
Yeah, but this will make it taste bad because you'll look at the face, you'll look at my pepper lips, and you'll be like, "Oh God, this is disgusting."
I mean,
I don't want anything to do with this. The brandy. So, okay,
it's the hair.
It's
the hair on the creature that really makes it.
Think of a Texas Pete Pabone. It's a he's doing a little dance. He's got 6-shooters.
Sure.
When you see is
you want something cute.
Yeah,
it's also lies. It's made in North Carolina.
You're like, look at Texas Pete. He knows hot sauce.
He's not Texas Pete. He's Carolina Pete.
He makes me want to eat hot sauce. Everything about Texas Pete is like.
Do you even use Texas Pete?
Let's look at all the main brands.
Tukes really gave me throat cancer.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I have a bad reaction to it.
What about like Cholula? That's a sweet like a Spanish woman, right?
Yeah. She's got. It's funny because I'm trying to envision Cholula and what she looks like, and I keep envisioning the lady with the fruit basket on her head.
That's Chiquita Banana.
Yeah, that's Chiquita.
You're food racist.
That is racist.
Is that racist?
Yeah.
Cholula,
That's
Chiquita.
Cholula,
Same
Chiquita,
thing.
Mrs. Butterworth. What's the other one?
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying,
No,
Cholula, Chiquita.
I mean, I could draw you as a Spanish woman. I don't know what.
Yes,
Yes.
That's it.
All I'm saying, Pabone, is
Senorita Pepper Lips.
what I was looking for is something that I don't want to give you a marketing lesson, Pabone, but I'm kind of a marketing specialist. I don't know if you know that, a branding specialist.
Wait a minute,
they call me. And the Danger Brain has taught me some things, and I've been in some.
But
meetings.
you've got it from here.
I just took what I've learned and then I rocketed forward. And so in branding, you gotta have a memorable brand that's simple, clean, yet kind of puts forth the message that you're trying to get to the consumer. And in this message, I want like a family-friendly, wholesome brand.
Yeah, but let's start with. Let me ask you some questions,
Okay.
branding genius.
Yeah. The Sergeant Pepper lips.
Why
I'll tell you.
sergeant when you have zero military experience?
Yeah, well, okay, just like
Stolen valor.
no, it's not stolen
It is stolen valor.
Racist and
That's it.
stolen valor.
Let's call it
okay, were the
stolen-
Beatles racist or stolen valor with the Sergeant Pepper? It's just it's art.
Why don't we call it stolen valor hot sauce?
It'll only be
it would sell.
It
would sell.
certain sections.
Purple Heart.
Well, here's
maybe.
This is kind of the part of the process that was missing the first time. Usually, when you do art for somebody, there's a little back and forth about, here's what I'm looking for. Here's the design idea.
I gave that to you in the show, Pabone. I said in the ACT, I said, Pabone, make me Sergeant Pepper lips.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did. It's fantastic.
But I said, I just figured you'd understand after years of listening where I was going for.
I had zero guidance from you. I was a little tutored, and that's what you get. And by the way, also free.
Yeah. Well, now here's the thing.
He likes the free part.
If this goes viral and I start selling millions of bottles, I get like Big Pepper.
Yeah, it didn't happen for Jesse from O'Day, but it'll happen for you. Sure.
He's
You
rich
did
now.
promise me 1%.
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
a lot of 1% of 10 million. I don't know what it is, but it seems like a lot.
1% of a doo-doo is a turd.
All I'm saying, Pabone, is back to the drawing board. I need a clean, family-friendly brand.
Oh, come on.
That kind of relates to right wing and left wing. Because I want to capture both audience.
Well, wait a minute.
Little bit of guns, little bit of flour, maybe a gun in a flower. 1960s massacre in the college.
Okay, then I'll.
What the hell
then
kind of
I'll
direction is
take
that?
this. I'll take the logo Pabone for free, and I'll use it on my competing hot sauce called Lieutenant Hal Jalapeno.
Yes.
I'll take it down, jalapeno.
So Lieutenant Hal Jalapenos, and I'll use that guy as my logo, and I'll go right up against you toe to toe.
Also,
I got
you kind of want to throw in some sort of like hint that this is healthy for you. A lot of food brands do this, even though there's no health benefit whatsoever in any of the products. But like.
You gotta take something out or put something in.
Yeah, like the visual of a heart. Sometimes people see that and they're like,
healthy.
heart health, yeah.
Or you can say all natural.
Yeah, all natural.
All natural.
Yeah. All
we'll
natural.
print it out the brown paper.
All natural.
I got you.
Yeah, like you could say 100% peppers. That's good.
Or just put made with real peppers.
Yeah. Made with real peppers. That's good. Because only like one sliver
Organic.
of a pepper. Oh,
Yeah.
organic.
Everything else is just extracts.
I think you could put all these words on there. There's no
yeah,
regulations.
put
there.
organic now. Put now with peppers.
Well, I just have to
More
write really
peppers.
small on the bottom, not actually organic.
It
would be good.
Go
Put
ahead and put
sugar free.
CBD on there. That'll sell.
Yeah.
That's hot right now.
Everybody loves CBD.
Yeah. Put CBD infused.
Yeah.
They'll never know because they'll never feel it. Either it is or
well,
not.
well, CBD's fake anyway. Everybody knows that, right?
You need the THC in there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the only thing that works.
CBD, you're just kidding yourself.
I'm thinking the CBD.
Yeah. People are like,
anti-inflammatory, so is Advil. Great.
yeah.
I need the high.
Even Sam asked that. She was like, for back pain, what you guys put some, and then people are like, well, I like both, but I like the CBD heavy. And I'm like, are you insane? It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You might as well just rub regular Lubriderm on there. I want Lubriderm with the stuff that makes me go to the moon.
Yeah.
Moonriderm. That's what I want.
You need the moon.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is just placebo.
We got to take a break.
All right, Pabone, you got your instructions.
Good luck.
I got it.
I'm
I'm taking
sorry.
notes.
I mean, I'm a
so
busy
sorry.
man. I can't just sit around and telling my artists how exactly they need to draw.
Wow, you own Pabone now, huh?
I'm just saying.
Oh,
You're not even paying him.
You don't know
At
our
least I
business.
paid him.
You don't know what being Pabone has got set up on the side.
I think I do.
He
One
literally literally just said it was
1%.
free, and you get 1% if you even sell anything, which you haven't
Which
yet.
you'll never do this. As soon as this pandemic's over, the Tower Garden will just look like an old haunted mansion. I know how this works, man.
How dare you? How dare you accuse me of doing stuff that I've did in the past?
All right, and I'll be back to just being crazy anxiety. Yeah, it's nothing changes till we die.
Pabon, where can people find your art?
Oh, man, just hit me up on Facebook if you want something custom. If you want a T-shirt, check out artofericpabon.threadless.com or the other way around. I don't really know. Just, just find me.
All right, brother. We love you, man. Take care.
Love you too. Bye.
See you,
Eric.
Yeah, it
See,
is
he said he loves me too.
artofericpabon.threadless.com, and Pabon is Pabon.
See, when I tell people I love them, they go, "I love you too," and it's very natural. I'm spreading the love, man. All you're doing is hating on people's art for free.
Yeah.
But people awkwardly say it back to you.
That did not sound awkward.
It's like a greedy. When you catch them off guard, and then they are like, "I love you too," because they don't know what to say. You know. It's
So
like,
if I changed it up and said something like at the end of my conversations, I was like, "Stop being a racist," they'd be like, "Okay," or they'd be like, "I'll stop being racist." Like, what are they?
It's just
You too.
Like when you tell someone like when someone tells
I'm going to
me
start saying happy birthday then at the end. I'm like, happy birthday, and they'll be like, happy birthday.
when someone tells me happy birthday, my first instinct is a happy birthday back. You know what I'm saying? Like my son does it too. Like Tommy.
Well, that just means you guys are dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that it's like.
That's because you're not paying attention to what anyone's saying. You're not
He
listening.
did that this morning. Butler left, and I go, where'd Butler go? And he's like, who? And I go, Butler. Did Butler go to run errands? And he's like, I think so. Wasn't paying attention.
Great.
Well, I told you the truth.
He had no
Look,
idea.
he's honest, but he's dumb.
He said so.
Oh, that's our
on the shirt.
tagline.
That's a tagline?
Van Dennis, honest and dumb. For both of us. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here, and we have a guest on the line.
Yeah.
And I know that you and I both have a very, very warm spot in our heart for real men that help other people and do good.
Yeah.
And we always like to talk to the quintessential, like, real guy who's out there doing the stuff that we hear about, but we've never done.
Yep. And also, we have a special place in our heart for THC.
Oh, yeah.
And
have some in my heart right now.
And we're partnered with Truelieve, who's our medical marijuana dispensary partner. And because of Truelieve, they have a director of veteran engagement.
That's smart.
That they told us,
so helpful.
And we're like, they told us a little bit about Steven, and we're like, we have to interview him on the air. And with us today is the director of veteran engagement from Truelieve, Sergeant Stephen Hill. How you doing, Stephen?
Wow, what an incredible introduction. I feel I'm kind of up in the clouds right now. I appreciate that so much. You know, and I mean that in both senses.
That's funny.
So, yeah, it's great to be here. I've been blessed. I can tell you a little bit about myself. 20-year military, Army. Started out as an infantryman, worked my way through the ranks, Sergeant First Class, went Special Forces. I was a Special Forces medical sergeant, stationed with 7 Special Forces Group. Got me a couple trips around the world. Been there, done that. My medical experience and my personal experiences in the military really, molded and created who I am. I'm grateful for it. I was blessed to fight alongside some of the best in the business, and I'm here now on 2 feet above ground. I take that as a blessing every day, and I use that to bless others, to help share how I have found peace and healing in my life through cannabis and other means, and also being able to reach out and continue to help the veteran community.
Yeah,
that's really been empowering.
It seems like a lot of our, and this comes up, I think, at all times. There isn't a time when we don't hear about lack of caring or or checking on or lack of even systems in place to take care of, especially physically and mentally, our veterans after maybe they do come back from, like you said, a couple of those trips around the world.
Yeah.
Because it's not like what you guys serving for the country, what you're doing out there is easy. And I think a lot of times those of us that don't do it don't really understand what some of the hardships that it can bring.
Oh, yeah, mentally, physically, everything. Steven, first tell us, how'd you get involved with Truelieve? When did you first discover the benefits of THC, cannabis products? How'd you get into it?
Okay, well, this will go back a little bit. My first exposure to cannabis was actually when I was 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Jacksonville, Florida. I was a mechanic for a place called the Jap Shop, and I had gone to a doctor's appointment and learned that I was a glaucoma suspect. And I didn't really know the importance of that and the significance of that. My boss kind of did, and he came back later that day and had some and said, Stevie boy not going to go blind, Jeff got good ganji. Well, my brother was a police officer, and like, I was totally against, drugs and was like, I don't know, but he was a father figure to me, and, I trusted his opinion, and, well, if it's going to help with glaucoma, then it can't be that bad. So that was literally my first experience that time. I used it a few times before I joined the military when I was 18, but once I joined the military, that stopped. You couldn't use it anymore. And then, you come to find out that the systems that are in place right now are systems that have, not really been, I feel, vetted clearly in the dangers that are associated with the pharmaceutical prescriptions that are being given out like candy. And, when you're in country and you're about to go do a mission and hit an objective that you've trained for 3 months, and one of your teammates injures himself right before going on that mission, you can't exactly find your second string, teammate that's been, training. You have to make him comfortable enough to get out there and accomplish that mission, because that's what it's all about. And, so when a guy, barrel-chested freedom fighter, hurts himself, we don't take the time to heal properly. We try to, all right, well, how can I continue at least get the job done? And it starts out with, one Percocet, one pill that, helps you cut the edge so you can accomplish the mission. Now you feel good, but you've injured yourself further. You need more pills. And that cycle starts to happen to where the balance gets thrown off, where you're not productive anymore because the amount of pills you have to take to get relief makes you where you're I guess, not inebriated, but impaired.
Impaired.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we've all had injuries. I mean, Tom knows. Tom, you had a shoulder injury, my knee. We all know what pain pills feel like, and there is an element where
it was awesome.
Well, I mean, for like a split second, but in the long term, you end up getting foggy. You're tearing down your body. It's not good for you.
You get addicted. Yeah, physically, mentally addicted to them to the point where you have to take more and more, and then you eventually OD, and that's what happens to everybody. It's when people are on opiates for a long period of time, and we've seen the epidemic happen. Steven, how have you seen it affect the military community? Because, we've all heard the stories about all the sports stars and the sports community, and then just regular people
in our own families.
Geez
Louise.
And the amount of doctors that are prescribing the opiates. I mean, they're working on it now, and it's at least society is more educated towards.
And you have options like Steven, being able to tell veterans about cannabis. Has it been an easy thing to do? And what type of, like Tom said, what type of addictions have you seen with maybe some of your brothers you fought alongside?
Oh, wow. Well, so I've personally been involved and I've been the individual giving, as the healthcare provider, that opiate or that first pill that started some of these guys.
Right, right.
And
I didn't think about that. You as a medical guy, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm following my training. I'm following what they teach us. Like, this is what they're teaching us to do, and then that ends up creating some of these issues. Now, I'd like to specify, too, it's not just opiates.
Right.
The psychological pharmaceutical meds that they're given for guys dealing with anxiety, PTSD, a lot of those other issues are so bad, and the side effects are so much worse. And then what they don't emphasize is, hey, check this out. We're going to give you this pill. You're going to be numb. you're pretty much not going to care about anything. You're not going to want to have, relations with your spouse anymore, and your really overall motivation is just going to plummet.
Right.
We're not those type of people. So when we all of a sudden realize that we're there in that position, we're taking these pills, lots of time guys try to cold turkey it, lock the door. I'm not taking any of these pills anymore. I'm going to, detox myself. And when you stop taking the psychological pharmaceutical meds, it causes chemical imbalances in your brain where you are not thinking clearly. And that's when a lot of guys are committing suicide.
Yeah.
They start second-guessing things they've done, experiences they've had. For me personally, so I retired in 2015. I tried to use the legal system and programs that they were implementing, and there are tons. There's group therapies, there's EMDR, there's so many different things that they're trying. The amount of support that we have for veterans now is a lot greater than in past, and this conflict is still going. It's the longest war campaign in American history. Right. So it's going to continue to put out guys that are experiencing a lot of these service-related conditions. So when I retired and my life started settling down, I opened a nonprofit spinal cord injury rehabilitation center in Tampa, Florida called Stay in Step, and that was my outlet. That was where I was able to see, wow, I'm on 2 feet above ground. I'm grateful for that because there are people who are, in wheelchairs and suffering from other mobility disabling injuries. And it was actually one of my clients was partnered with Truelieve, and they were the ones that connected me at that time with Truelieve. And that's when I realized, that's even a bigger mission for me because the piece that I have found, the only thing I medicate with is cannabis and cholesterol meds. Can't do nothing about the cholesterol meds. That's genetic,
Yeah. Sometimes that's just a dice roll. Yeah, we all have some of those.
Exactly. So, but what really helped me was I was medicating when it wasn't, available in the forms that it's available now. So it was mainly whole flower, whole plant, and smoking is what I thought was the only way to do it. And I realized there are so many other ways. And because I've had access to those systems, I've completely changed how I medicate. I use an entourage of different products, so I can use a tincture in the morning in my coffee, maybe do a little whole plant to start the day, and then I could have, a vape pen or another tincture or some of the other products available to get me through the day, to make me the most productive, to feel the best, and to continue to impact the community.
Stephen, I want to ask you a question because in the military, and me and Daniel were talking about it, there's a lot of real men mentality, and you're a real man. I've read some of the stories, and I want to talk to you about those of saving people's lives is incredible. But I can imagine in the military, there's a lot of old school mentality, a lot of tough real men that still look at like THC as dope, especially some of the old school guys.
Yeah,
and
well, just like I'm picturing your grandfather,
my
grandfather.
Papa fought in World War II.
Yeah.
He just always thought marijuana was dope, and really it's just the propaganda that he's been fed his entire life, and it's not his fault. He just didn't know any better because that's all he's been told.
They probably didn't have as much research and as many products and as many success stories as they do now.
So do you find that initially for a lot of military guys there's maybe a pushback because
skepticism maybe
because they look at THC like, oh, that's for stoner hippies that want to get high, like I'm gonna take like these drugs that were prescribed to me by my doctor that maybe like you said, whether they're opiates or psychological medications that are way more harmful, more side effects.
It doesn't have the stigma.
Yep.
And not coming from just a plant.
Well, I can tell you this much right now. Having the background I have has definitely helped me. Special Forces medics, 18 Deltas, were looked at as, the epitome of excellence for tactical medicine. So that respect and knowledge across the board has, I think, opened some minds to listen to what I had to say. It's not like I'm, no offense to any support skill sets out there, but, I wasn't sitting in a fire base the entire deployment, and then I said, oh, yeah, I have PTSD or something like that. I've actually experienced firsthand some traumatizing things that can never be taken away.
Right.
And I was a sniper. A lot of our missions had to use a Barrett 50 cal. So you can imagine what a Barrett does to a human being. And when you're there and you're in country and, you're in that kill or be killed mentality, when you take another life, you're high-fiving your buddy, making a mark on your buttstock, whatever your thing is, right? But when you come back, and this is what happened for me, is I came back and everything started settling down. I started, really analyzing, just life and who I was and what I've done. And I realized, regardless of the fact that the enemy is the enemy, they're human beings. Yeah. And lots of times they're fighting for their families and for what they believe in. Sure. And lots of times they're manipulated and they're fighting under wrong pretenses. So I started to have these manifested nightmares of my sniper missions where I have my Barrett 50 cal and my targets are popping up in my crosshairs and I'm pulling the trigger still. But the targets are no longer the enemy. The targets were my family and my friends.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out how to break out of that. I was terrified to go to sleep. This was before I was medicated with cannabis. I didn't want to experience that because it was with such vivid detail, and I didn't ask for it. I didn't want that just because of the change in mentality and how I've continued forward in my life is what kind of provoked that. Well, shit, that's not something anybody asks for. Nobody tells you, hey, by the way, it's possible you're going to have the worst nightmares of your life where you wake up and feel that you've killed your entire family.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Nobody wants to have that, So by being able to share these experiences with some of these veterans who, right now, I think it's even more important that we start targeting the active duty members to raise awareness when they're starting their transition process to go to wherever they're going to continue that next chapter of their life. They need to know, hey, these are the medicinal, here's the holistic therapeutic, things that are out there available that are different than the pill factory, than the pharmaceuticals that they're just trying to jam you with. And, oh, by the way, when you leave your family of brothers and sisters that you'd be willing to die for and go to wherever you're going, you're going to feel alone if you don't have some sort of networks and community that you've already established and reached out to. And that's another thing. People don't realize military service members have had purpose since they raised their hand. Their mission has been given to them from higher, so that has been their purpose, and our purpose has been to accomplish the mission. So when you retire or transition and get out, and that mission is no longer given to you, you lose your purpose. Right. And if you can't come up with your own mission and your own purpose, then you lose the will to live.
Stephen, what you're saying is pretty powerful, and I've often thought, I was like, with someone who's in wartime, and I've seen documentaries and things that's the only real information that I'm getting. Obviously I haven't been through it, so there's no really way for me to understand it. But to me, it seems like when you're over there, and you could tell me, and you're every day you could possibly die, and you're in that scenario, you get used to living like that, where that my life's at risk at every moment, and I could die at any moment.
Well, we're all kind of doing it now. You create your new normal, don't you?
Well, yeah. In that scenario, your human brain will adapt pretty quickly. Yeah. But it seems to me that it'll adapt to that, and then you're like, okay, this is a rough way to live, but I've adapted to it. And then when you go back to life in the United States, where your life isn't at risk every second and your friends' lives aren't at risk every second, it's hard to get back to that way of living from such an extreme. Have you found that to be the case? It's hard to go back. You could adapt to the wartime faster than you can back to normal life, where you're not in danger at all seconds.
So there's two things. So the military does a great job at desensitization. They do it from the very beginning by placing you in stressful scenarios and training, getting you used to that, crazy this is the, potential outcome of an engagement like this, right? So you're constantly doing your battle drills and training because when the time comes and you're actually in that moment, there's no thought. You're not thinking. You're reacting, and you're reacting on your training. And if you're trained right, then the outcome will be good. That's why you say train as you fight as you train. Our training is extremely realistic. When we're doing live fires, we're doing everything else. The medical training we do, like the breakthroughs they've had in human simulated patients and moulage and spurting out blood and letting guys see this stuff before they're seeing it for the first time in their life is what really helps them get through those scenarios. But like you said, it's a different mentality. You're operating on a different part of the nervous system, and you're hyper vigilant, hyper alert, and then you do make that transition when you come back. But when you look at guys that are going on, 10, 12, 15 combat rotations, it gets more and more difficult to make that change. And that's when guys are coming back and they're beaten because they see some of the things that stress people, here, and it's of such little significance to the experiences and stresses that they had that they become frustrated, irritated, you feel rage because you're like, wow, you're really yelling at that barista right now because you didn't get all the sugars in your coffee. You know what I mean? There's so many other things.
Preach it, brother. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the things, for me, my service, I am so grateful every day that I get to wake up and just be here. And so I'm constantly looking, how can I help somebody else? We've gotten very selfish, very focused on our, smartphones. Our faces are buried, and we know what's happening on the other side of the world 30 seconds after it happens, but it could be happening next door, and people are oblivious to it.
Right. And so, what's funny is that, just so the listeners know, that even before our interview, the first thing Samantha said when she called you was like, wow, this guy sounds super happy, ready to take on the day. And I was like, that's all. But you can hear how genuine when you say, what do you mean you're yelling at that guy? Because I've seen some things that you could never stomach, could never ever internalize, and I am so grateful to just be walking on my feet and being dude, I can completely hear it. It's accurate. It's real.
And it's definitely something that I think needs to be addressed. And cannabis for me, if it's not for everybody, that's fine. But
sure,
everybody should at least be given the choice to see, and that's how I feel about veterans is, we volunteered to place ourselves in harm's way so we could, try to continue to fight for this nation and do what we do. And I feel guilty that I'm able to benefit from cannabis because I'm in Florida, but I got a veteran brother who's in, Montana or North Carolina, and, they're suffering, or they're trying to medicate with cannabis on,
illegally.
By different means,
Sure.
illegally. Yeah, illegally. I don't even like saying it because I feel bad for them.
Right.
No, you're right. You're right, especially veterans.
They have to break the law in order to find peace.
Yeah. What kind of, just to give
this
people...
This is absurd.
Yeah.
To take a plant instead of all these pharmaceutical chemicals that they're giving to you, they're like, these are harming me worse. Can I just have this plant extract? Nope, illegal. You will go to jail. Like, what?
Well, no,
this is absurd.
And they even make it what? They make it like...
You want alcohol?
They make
as much alcohol as you want.
They make it...
Like, it is bad for me.
A top-tier scheduled drug.
Schedule 1, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Schedule 1, but you can go get booze all day long, and I
Absurd.
guarantee you that ain't gonna help.
Or pain pills that
well,
will...
hey, and you know what? The military. So I didn't drink before. I think a lot of kids now, they drink younger than before. When I was younger, I didn't drink, probably because I smoked marijuana. But when I joined the military, my first duty assignment was Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. I got there. My roommate was a specialist machine gunner. He sat me down and said, drink, Cherry, and he made me drink a fifth of this stuff called Aftershock. I'm not sure if you're familiar. It was like a cinnamon liqueur that had these little sugar crystals in it. Because they had Avalanche and Aftershock, and they did Fire and Ice shots. This guy made me, on my very first night in Hawaii, drink almost a fifth of this. I mean, I was vomiting. I don't remember much else up until a certain point. But the sad thing was the next weekend came, and it was all over again. And the military had that, I don't know, drinking is very prevalent, you know. They're looking for some way to escape some of the thoughts, some of the feelings, some of the things that they've experienced. It gets utilized when you're toasting for fallen comrades, you know. Like, it's something that's it's associated, and it's so much more detrimental and impairing, you know. And I know, too, I think that if they would somehow figure out how to utilize cannabis, and I'm talking THC cannabis, in conjunction with your transitioning, like, hey, you just got done with some crazy mission, or you're coming home and you're spending time with your family, there's going to be those moments where you feel tension, you feel awkward, you don't know how to react, because every time the drawer closes in the kitchen for the silverware, you're freaking out and you feel your heart pounding and you're sweating and you're looking over, it's your son just got a spoon, you know, and you need to be able to have something that helps you deal with that. And there is no doubt in my mind, from personal experience, cannabis is really the only choice. Yeah. It's the only choice. It would make such an impact. And for all of my brothers and sisters that are out there now and they're listening and they're unaware, do your due diligence and find out where it's legal and find out where you can get plugged in. Make sure, and if you don't have any experience with cannabis, get with somebody who does, because if you try to get into it inexperienced, you may have an experience that makes you feel like it's not the choice for you.
Yeah, and you can always check with the guys at Truelieve. I mean, that's basically what I did with anxiety and back pain and everything else. You just ask them, you know, and like stomach issues, you know, like you could just ask them and they'll set you up. Yeah, tell you 100%. What you need to do.
Stephen, I read a story that was just insanely impressive about something you did with while you were on a mission, and you saved someone's life, literally. Like, a lot of people talk about saving lives, and it may be like, oh, because of me this person lived, but like, literally you saved this person's life who would have 100% died, and you gave him a tracheotomy.
Oh my God, really?
Like, in a fight, in battle, like on the field. And I thought how insane that must be, and just like you said, to live through that, to see that, to experience that is crazy. And you're still friends with the person that you saved their life to this day. And unfortunately, because of his injuries, he's in a wheelchair, but he looks like, you know, he's doing better than the doctors even thought he'd do. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
So, yeah, it was September 19th, I think, 2008. We were in Maidon Valley. We were in support of a company mission. We pushed in. We had a big bulldozer with us that we were using to create a road. We fought for 36 hours into this valley, getting to a position to support a company mission. And en route, our bulldozer was disabled to where we could no longer progress forward and had to go back through the gauntlet we fought through. So when we went back through that gauntlet, it was pretty intense. The History Channel did a show called The War Fighters, and if you Google on YouTube Green Beret 7115, the episode pulls up. They did an episode on this mission, and my teammate and our number 2, Romy Camargo, was shot in the neck. And the call came over the radio. I was in the turret of my vehicle. I was 11 Bravo before. I've been a combat arms guy, so they would always talk trash to me, saying, hey, the medic's not supposed to be in the turret. If you get hit, what happens? I'm like, well, then outshoot me at the range.
Yeah, exactly.
I never thought about it. With the guys on your team not want, like, they don't want you to get hurt
because
you're going to say, yeah. Never thought about that.
No, so with my team and with my background, I was an infantry guy. I've been to all the hula schools. I've been there, done that. So there wasn't anybody on the team really that was any more combat prepared than I was. So for me, I was like, my job is to eliminate the threat. If I eliminate the threat, then there won't be any casualties. Do you understand?
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
And then when I stream, you always cross-train, so I definitely want to make sure that my teammates knew how to do the same procedures just in case it was me laying on the ground. So for the treatment algorithm, it was self-aid, buddy aid, and then 18 Delta. So if I'm doing my job, that means it's beyond the ability levels of anybody else that's close to that casualty. So when my teammate he got shot, the call came over the radio. We were fording through this river, and they had pushed to the far side to establish security. And I tell you, I remember as we started to approach their vehicle, the 50 cal on that gun truck was going off, so you could see the muzzle flashing, and there were rounds that were hitting in the dirt and gravel, and just stuff was flying everywhere. And we pulled up literally right next to it before the vehicle could stop. I'm jumping out of the turret of my vehicle into the back of their truck, where I see Romy laid out. Blood's everywhere. He's got no pulse. He wasn't breathing. This is where I say I reached out and I saw a soul leaving his body, and I jumped up and grabbed it by his foot, and I slammed it back down in his body and said, "Not on my watch." Romy likes it when I tell that, but I did what I was trained to do. My buddy was on the 50 cal, save him, Steve, and I knew I had to do an emergency crike, and I did what I was trained to do, stabilized C-spine and got him where he needed to be. And unfortunately, the injury itself was just so grave that it did leave him paralyzed. And it was funny because the first couple years after that, seeing Romy and seeing that he had to call somebody over to come scratch his nose if it itched. He could never do anything. He's basically a prisoner trapped in his own body.
Yeah.
I suffer with extreme survivor's guilt. I couldn't go, the team started to think bad of me because every time they would do some sort of, hey, we're going to go see Romy thing, I would always come up with an excuse not to go because despite being there and smiling and happy, every time I left, I would be really messed up from it.
Yeah.
God. So you felt guilty for saving his life because he was paralyzed, so you felt like maybe I condemned him.
Yeah. I could not live like he lives. I could not live like he does. Every single day, he has a smile on his face, and he's grateful. Him and I have had peace now. It's been 13 years. So, actually, in 2015, when I retired, and we opened a spinal cord injury rehabilitation center in Tampa, it was with Romy. We did it for him.
That's
it was
awesome.
him and his wife, and we did it to bring that type of therapy, that type of environment to the community in Tampa, because there was nothing there. The closest was Orlando, so they were having to drive to Orlando to do the therapy, and so they're like, let's do it here, and we created it. We've raised over $10 million. They're still going strong. They offer assistance to veteran and civilian community, and
awesome.
It's really it was another just to be able to impact their lives and bring them, especially the veterans, because the veteran, they don't want to be felt sorry for.
Right.
So when they come in there in their wheelchair and stuff, and I'm like, all right, let's go. What you doing? Your legs broken? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mess with them because that's what they want. That better be sweat coming down inside of your face. We ain't got room for tears here.
Yeah. I got you.
Because
that mentality.
Well, you've been there,
exactly.
yeah. It's and that's another thing too, is having somebody that's actually been there and been around that and knows the culture, for lack of a better term. Often when we try to solve a problem, we put somebody in there who maybe on paper looks super qualified, but they don't know the culture. They don't know. They don't know even the love language they're trying to tell to these guys.
They're not one of you. And that's different.
They're not in the club.
Yeah,
so it is different having somebody like you as their lead, their ambassador. their whatever you want to call it, their advocate is certainly, and then to tie it into medical marijuana and the fact that this can be so beneficial.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Truelieve, I just sat. It was like me and 4 veterans.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm just hanging out with these old timers that are getting their meds.
Who is it that is sitting here still in 2020 that would say publicly, I don't think veterans should have access to medical marijuana? Like, who is that? Like,
I don't know. Show me who it is.
It's crazy.
Show me.
I don't think anybody thinks that.
I would think they'd be first on the list.
Of
and
course.
like Steven
If
was
anybody
saying,
should get it.
It's almost like as soon as, like in 2015 when you retired, Steven, it's almost like the government should have come to you in some way and said, okay, now that you're out, it's proven time after time, you're going to have a tough time getting back into society, but this will be able to help you navigate things a little bit better.
Or they have access
so
to
that's one of the initiatives I'm trying to build right now through some of our partner organizations. One called Mission Zero. Their mission is to get the veteran suicide count from 22 to 0.
Yeah.
And they are doing outreach. They have resources. They're connecting with veterans who have found themselves on the post-end transition now, and they're don't have jobs. The retirement that they're getting or the disability they're getting is maybe just enough to let them survive, but they still don't have that connection with people and to really understand what's there. And then of course the fact that what if I'm a veteran and I medicate with this and this is what helps me, but I've got this dream that I would like to take a trip and go visit all of the national parks in our country, because I'd like to see and appreciate what I've been fighting for and devoting my life to. But you're going to tell me that I can't take my RV and go and bring my medication with me? That doesn't seem right.
No,
of course
not.
So that's some of the things that need to be addressed. They need to figure out, hey, look, either reschedule it. Rescheduling it would solve all the problems, and I think it would probably be the easiest course of action.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the holdup is. I don't know why they're not doing this.
Normally the holdup's money.
Well, it's also that and legal issues, right? Because there's a lot of people that are locked up right now for a lot of years over marijuana.
Yeah, there's a lot of complications.
Yeah.
How are you going to retrofit that?
You get into privatized jail industry. You get into pharmaceutical industry and lobbyists. And the pharmaceutical industry, they make a lot of money selling all this medication
they
to
also
veterans.
Have a lot of influence too.
Yeah,
but I know a lot of the pharmaceutical companies now are starting to invest in that cannabis stock in preparation for that transition because they know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. Once everybody feels comfortable. I'm surprised that one of the presidents, to be elected, hasn't mentioned it like, hey, vote for me, I'll legalize it. He or she would win. They would win.
I know.
I'm pretty sure.
I have this theory that Trump was going to do it just to get votes.
Never know.
It seems like and you kind of are on the inside working with Truelieve, and from what I've heard, it's just a matter of time before it happens. I just hopefully sooner than later. So. People like yourselves can get or at least have access to this thing that could help them. It doesn't make any. There's no argument that makes any sense against that's against this. It doesn't. It doesn't.
I know.
It's absurd.
There's not. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is if you've seen that movie Pineapple Express, and in the very beginning they show a scene where they were attempting to utilize cannabis as a means of, performance enhancing. So they had this, private smoking a doobie, and there's a general there, and the private smoking it, and the general's like, well, tell me, soldier, how do you feel? And he's there, and he's like, I feel kind of like a slice of butter melting over a giant stack of flapjacks. And then he goes on this thing, and then all of a sudden, all you see is this stamp on official paperwork that says denied, and it's cannabis. And so that's, I think, what's happened is just that those initial, unassisted exposures to those various attempts have caused that misunderstanding of there are more species of cannabis than there are species of dogs. I don't know if you realize there's over like 36 or 37,000 strains of marijuana, and every single strain has a different terpene profile, has different cannabinoids, and has a different effect on each specific individual.
Yeah.
So the availability of medicinal relief, there's tons of possibilities out there. And it's just a matter of being able to continue. There's never been any research that's been supported, so it's hard to back a lot of that up.
Yeah,
so,
you're 100% right, Stephen. And I always laugh when you talk to an older person and like, I got high in the 80s, didn't like it. I'm like, what if, well,
it's not about that.
You got high off of what? Some regs that you bought in the 80s? Like,
who knows what it was?
Yeah, like there's...
wasn't regulated.
Yeah, you know.
Like regs or crippy.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all, you know?
Yeah.
That was what it was. And even then, you didn't know what you were getting.
Exactly.
Of course.
Well, yeah, and then again, you also weren't trying to medicate something that was bothering you. You might have just been trying to get high, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But there are people that
Right.
really need this.
And there's different products that work. Like Truelieve has a
my
wide
God.
range
Too many.
of products.
I don't even know all the stuff that they got.
Yeah. We'll end with this, Stephen, because I know we got to go and take a break. But any particular product you like from Truelieve that maybe I should try? I've tried a lot of them.
So I am very, very partial. Like I like the True Clears. They come in the syringe. There's a CO2 extract and an ethanol extract. And what's so great about it is the versatility. It's an activated product, so you can actually take it. You can do a little rice strip, line and put it on a piece of gum or a piece of taffy, fold it over, throw it in your mouth, and you'll get the medicinal benefits from it. You can take it and utilize it in one of the, various types of medicinal accessories they have, like the Puffco Plus, or you can use the old school, dab rig and use it in there, or you can put it into a batch of brownies, or you can take it and it's all already ready to go. So there's not any additional things that you have to mess with.
Yeah,
and it also reduces the amount that you need to smoke. Like my dad died from lung cancer. There's never been any associated, cases of lung cancer and marijuana smoking, but still, I mean, smoke is smoke, and if I can reduce the amount of smoke that I'm putting in my lungs
Makes sense.
Through another means, then I'm going to try that, especially if I can still feel the way I need to feel. So I'm really excited, too. We've got these True Tincture drops.
Yep.
And currently it's in a eucalyptus mint flavor.
Yep, great.
So for me, it tastes like a cough drop, and I enjoy that. Just don't wear a mask and have it in your mouth because it blows that mint in your eyes, and it's like being gassed out. It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
This is all good to know.
I just eat the rice grade. I don't have to put it on any candy.
Exactly. And that's it. The only reason I put on a candy or gum is some people don't like the stickiness that it gets all on their teeth and stuff. But if you put it in with gum, if you fold it over on a piece of gum and you chew that gum, the mastication and the saliva production, you don't even notice the stickiness. And, by the time that gum is like, okay, I'm ready to spit it out, you've already absorbed it all. So you don't even notice. It's
That's
really it's a good way to use it.
Well, Stephen, it was great talking to you, man.
Thanks for your time, man. We really do appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm always glad to try to share the word and help as I can and just, all glory to God, because that's why I'm here. I realize that, and now it's time for me to use that blessing to help others.
All right,
sir.
Awesome, Stephen. Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, and we hope to talk to you again soon, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Please, you have my number.
All right, man.
Cool.
Take
Perfect.
care. That is Scuba
nice guy.
Steve.
Yeah. No, we know a lot of Scuba Steves.
lot
We
of
do.
Scuba
That's our
Steves.
second one we've collected in the last week.
I forgot that. We'll have him back on. I'll talk to him about the scuba diving.
Yeah, there's too
This guy's a
much.
real man. He knows how to disarm bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
We got to take a break.
Yeah.
We're way late, so we'll take a quick one, come back, and finish out more of Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. We got to plug some stuff and get out of here. Where are we at with our Father's Day basket extravaganza goodness?
I think
We're waiting on one thing, right?
One thing?
We're waiting on one last item.
It's the penis pump, right?
And it will hopefully
Why
be
do
up
people use those? Don't do that.
They need
June 5th. Does that work? It says
Try
it
it
works.
out.
I'll try one, but I just don't want to do any damage. It goes back, right?
Well, if it goes
Yeah.
back, then it doesn't work. It
No.
should be-
It's only you're only doing it for like a
right
little.
before use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like like
What
air.
did you think it did?
I
Air
thought there
doesn't-
was one that makes it
no, that's
grow,
surgery.
like long overtime or something.
Uh,
I thought there was just
long
something
overtime.
There's something.
Then you could just never stop and just
Well,
go forever.
It's something
Well,
about.
eventually, every month you'd have to get a trim or something. You know, like it's like a haircut.
I thought it was. Something
No,
with
it's
that.
right before use. It's like air doesn't stay in a balloon forever, sir.
Oh, okay. I like how the pills have been touted as like.
Oh yeah.
Even like there was a NASCAR. It wasn't Jimmy Johnson.
No.
what?
You're thinking of Mark Martin used to drive the Viagra car.
But I thought there was an Extends. And
Oh, they did an Extends?
The
Probably.
coach Jimmy Johnson.
Oh yeah, he did Extends.
He did a commercial. Why did he do that?
Money?
I don't know, but it made me lose some. I
respect
looked at
for
him
him.
like, "What are you doing?"
Because like you're rich already, Jimmy Johnson. Like, didn't anybody in
you
your
ready for a
camp
hot take? 'Cause
or your publicist say
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this pill is BS. Like, it does not work."
you want a hot
Like,
take?
You shouldn't
Like,
ruin
why
your
would
reputation."
any
Huh?
man do a male enhancement commercial? I mean, I'd rather just.
It says he's.
I'd rather just not do it.
He uses it.
Yeah, but it
Yeah, well-
there's no scientific proof at all. I mean, it's a sham. It does not do that.
It's a
What
shimmy dog
Have you
ham
used
for
it?
sure.
No,
How do you know it doesn't work?
because
Can't you buy it at Walgreens? If you buy it at
Samantha-
Walgreens,
They
it doesn't
could buy it
work.
at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Because if it did work, we'd all be taking it.
That's a fact.
That's how I know. That's how I know with a lot of
And he
things.
wins.
It's like
There's no way to beat that argument.
Yeah.
He wins because he's right. If it worked, everybody be coming to me like, "Hey, dude," they'd be like, "Hey, I've been taking Extends, and man, I'm like 9 more inches."
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "What?"
they'd be the richest corporation in the world. They're
And men would never wear shorts ever again. Everybody'd be just we just overeat them, and we'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then we'd be going to the doctor for horrible problems.
Yeah.
We'd be like, "You gotta
People would be
help me."
abusing
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'm turning into a giant wiener.
there would be some Instagram guy that is like Mr. Extends, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
like it'd be like, "You're taking too much."
Yeah, I can't stop.
Yeah. That's how I know it doesn't
How many
work.
Extends do you take? I take 70 Extends a day.
I know it
I want to
doesn't
know
work.
someone that's tried it.
Why don't you buy it for me and Tom and Butler, and we'll all take it?
It's like Spanish fly.
I'm just gonna buy a bunch of Extends at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even understand.
Yeah, a lot, enough. 1 month supply for each of us.
Because even things like lasers and things where they're like stimulates your nerve bundles, I'm like,
Well, the
oh,
lasers,
okay.
Nerve bundles.
The lasers, I believe in.
At least they're saying something.
I'm gonna
Like,
start
what-
telling that to my wife.
what-
I'll be like, "Hey, you want to stimulate my nerve bundle?
What is Extend saying? Like,
Take this pill."
like I understand I understand how Viagra works. It opens up your capillaries and like relaxes blood flow to everything. Like, okay, we get it.
What
But
about those
Extends? How is it making?
There's a
the
lot of
unit
things.
bigger.
I don't know how they work. I don't know how Extends works. I don't know how these
Well-
ads that I see on the porno sites that say "have sex with ugly women, no strings attached." How does that work?
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that for a long time.
What are they like? How do they like? How do you
Yeah.
keep them quiet?
Yeah. They tell
They
my,
still got mouths.
Yeah. They're gonna tell my old lady.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be bad for me.
Honey, can you get that? There's some ugly lady at the ring doorbell. Oh, God, they're here.
Extends claims to reduce the symptoms of ED by causing more blood to flow into the spongy chambers.
Don't touch my sponge chambers.
Well, that's
How
what
dare you.
Viagra. I mean,
So yeah, it's pretending like it's a knockoff.
Harry
Viagra.
Potter in the case of the spongy chambers.
Yeah, but Viagra is for ED. Extends, right?
No,
Like,
I think they mean
No.
extends your time in bed.
Yeah, that
I don't think
it
they
was a
mean-
misconception that people thought it was supposed
Yeah.
to make it bigger, but it just helps with
Yeah.
bad marketing. I guess good marketing, but bad. Well, because I think everybody thought Extends was
I did. I thought-
different than
Yeah.
Viagra, right?
Yeah,
I thought
it was
I thought
different.
it was like a
Yeah.
yeah.
Extend.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah.
name. Yeah, it's in the name.
Okay, we got to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow.